Again, I'm Steven. I'm 7 years into being a primary care doctor, seeing about 20 patients a day, and I've learned a lot along the way. But lately I've been focusing so much on things that I wish I had known from the beginning or done differently, and how I'm changing the way that I practice medicine. One of the first lessons that I'm learning along the way is that I need to get better, and I've been getting better at learning how to tolerate people disliking me. And I think that this is so key in order to be a good doctor. In order to become successful in life or to become a doctor in the first place, we have to learn how to adapt. We have to learn how to be liked by everybody. Try getting into med school without being liked by everybody. You need all these, references. You need to have all these internships, all these things done along the way. But all this positive and negative reinforcement just results in this prototype of a person who doesn't know how to be disliked by people. And in order to be an effective doctor, I think sometimes you have to take a stand, even if it means your colleagues or your patients or the network that you're working for to be significantly upset, and to make space for yourself and to do what you think is right. Again, even if it means people being disappointed. And this is a skill that doctors, I think, are extremely bad at, because I know I was, and I'm still working on it really strongly, but it's taking me a long time to get there. But the second lesson that I've learned as I've been a doctor for all this time that I really wish I had done differently would be to slow down. Again, modern medicine, probably just jobs in general, focuses so much on volume and efficiency and getting things done quickly. And I think burnout and a lot of consequences that we're experiencing is a result of this. But sometimes, again, I think we need to box out, and we need to learn how to find a way to exist without that pressure so strongly on us. And that's not easy, but I think it can take some creative solutions and some, taking a step back and really being creative in terms of how we can accomplish that. But it's not possible to function as a doctor in the long run and to be an effective one if we're constantly beholden to this speed and volume pace that we've been doing. And I look back at the first few years of my practice, and I can't even imagine how I got that done, and what type of sacrifices I had to make, and what type of, what I didn't do with my patients or what I didn't see in order to have gotten that much done in that short amount of time. Again, luckily, I've learned this lesson, and I'm learning this lesson, but we've got to slow down. And then the last thing that I think I've learned is that I've got to be more authentic, and I'm being more authentic with my patients. Again, I think doctors are really good at being chameleons and really good at reading the room and reading people's emotions and trying to be what they need to be for everybody around them to function, basically. But that only gets us so far. I think you can be a really good doctor and be inauthentic and just focus on the mission. But I think if you want to be an extremely good doctor and a great doctor and somebody that can really affect people, you have to let that go, and you have to learn how to be yourself and be authentic with your patients. And again, that means drawing a line. That means taking a stance. That means telling people things that may be really hard for them to hear. That means being honest with yourself about the things that you've been doing wrong and learning along the way. And again, I think it's so hard for perfectionists and high achievers and doctors to take feedback from themselves, for example, and others, because it just triggers this deep uncomfort inside of us. And so I'm working really hard to try to be more authentic with my patients and to say things that I used to be afraid of saying, and to tell my colleagues things that I used to be afraid of saying, and to do my own thing, even if it means everybody's sort of like, what? And it's really hard because I'm retraining my colleagues and my patients in real time, and there's like this big adjustment period in that process. So, being a primary care doctor in 2026 is challenging, but I think everybody's job is challenging. And I think this information can be really universal in many ways. learning how to be disliked, learning how to be authentic, and slowing down are like the exact antithesis of what it takes to become a doctor, and probably many other things in the world. But it's imperative for us to go from being good to being great, and to being somebody who can really make changes and allow it to help people make changes in the long run. So hopefully this introduction has been helpful for you guys. I am going to continue to make content going forward about the experience of a primary care doctor in 2026. Some of the pitfalls that we're experiencing along the way, some of the things that I've learned along the way, and hopefully it'll be something that we can both learn from together. So thank you so much, and have a great day.